Spider-Man seeks the help of Doctor Strange to forget his exposed secret identity as Peter Parker. However, Strange's spell goes horribly wrong, leading to unwanted guests entering their universe. What happened next will shock you. Let's start our story. The streets are jammed with people. Suddenly the fire elemental appears and starts destroying the city, while Betty and Ned are trapped at the top of a Ferris wheel. Seeing the monster at work, Mysterio and Spider-Man team up to try to stop it, but the creature is capable of absorbing all kinds of material, so no attack is strong enough to defeat it. And with a single blow, the elemental causes a crack in the ground, and the Ferris wheel begins to topple. Immediately, Peter goes to the aid of his classmates, and Beck claims to have a plan to stop the enemy after saying goodbye to the boy. He gathers a large amount of energy and pierces the elemental's body, agreeing to sacrifice himself to destroy it, and Fury invites him to join him as a member of Europol's headquarters in Berlin. After the great success of his mission, Beck invites Peter to dinner at a restaurant, and the two of them talk about the technological glasses that the boy got from Tony. Determined to get on with his life as a normal boy without the responsibility of having to save the world at any moment, Peter decides to hand over control of Edith to Beck, as he believes the superhero will make better use of the technology. The boy feels relieved and says goodbye to Beck to go and find MJ. When he leaves, Beck deactivates the holographic system he has implanted in the restaurant and celebrates the fact that his whole plan has turned out as he had hoped. The truth is that Beck and the team of scientists who work for him are former employees of Tony Stark. The group of supervillains pulled their knowledge to fool Fury and pretend that the elemental attacks were happening in random places on the planet, when in reality, they were all orchestrated by Beck. The dude has managed to fool everyone by pretending to have superpowers when in fact, all he has are drones and high-tech equipment that produce perfect holograms. When Peter returns to the hotel and finds Ned, he learns that the school trip has come to an end after the 2 consecutive attacks that the students suffered. Their parents contacted Mr. Harrington and asked for the immediate return of the teenagers to the United States. Knowing that this is his last chance to meet MJ in Europe, Peter decides to ask her out on a date, and during the walk, he discovers that his Spider-Man identity has been discovered. MJ has had her eye on Peter for some time and reveals that she saw him fight the fire elemental that night. At that moment, the young woman shows the device she found at the scene of the battle, and suddenly the image projector is activated. After analyzing the machine, Peter soon comes to the conclusion that the elementals were fake and discovers that Mysterio was really responsible for causing all that destruction. And also, when he realizes the mistake he made in passing Tony Stark's glasses onto a supervillain, Peter decides to confess that he is in fact Spider-Man and return to the hotel with MJ. Beck realizes that there is something wrong with his suit, and William reveals that the projector of one of his drones was lost during the battle. And in an attempt to find the evidence that could ruin his entire plan, the man accesses the drone footage and discovers that the projector was found by MJ. Peter Parker now knows that he has been tricked, and Beck comes to the conclusion that he will have to eliminate him to ensure that his secret is not discovered. Peter plans to go to Berlin to reveal the truth to Fury, as he suspects that Beck has tapped his cell phone while the boy is putting on his superhero costume. But the girl reveals that she has discovered that Peter is Spider-Man after telling his friend that Mysterious is a fake who created the elementals through holographic projectors. After checking the social networks of one of his classmates, Peter discovers that they are in London and asks Happy to take him there while he assembles a new Spider-Man costume with the technological equipment. Meanwhile, Maria Hill reveals that she has just detected a large electromagnetic pulse coming from London. Beck has an unlimited supply of drones and requests a large number of them to create a monstrous storm that covers a large part of the city. The dude's plan includes getting rid of Peter's friends during the attack, but Mr. Harrington manages to guide the students off the bus before the vehicle is struck by lightning. While much of the city is destroyed, a mist monster appears on the bridge, and Mysterio hologram approaches to confront it, knowing that the aberration is just a projected image. Peter hitches a ride on Happy's jet and flies over the creature. While talking to Beck through a communication device, Fury realizes that he is being tricked and prepares to interfere in the battle. However, when he sees Peter approaching the monster, the agent feels more confident as he believes that the boy is capable of defeating it. Peter uses an electric shock to short-circuit the projectors, and the illusion begins to unravel. The boy then goes after his target but is shot down by one of the drones, and Beck orders Edith to send all the drones to eliminate Spider-Man. At that moment, Happy lands his ship in the middle of the city and sets off to find Ned and MJ. The man sees his jet destroyed in an explosion and has to change his plans. After sending a legion of drones to eliminate Spider-Man, Beck goes after the teenagers who are with Happy and chases them until they reach a mum. The villain continues his hunt for Spider-Man, but surprisingly, Peter manages to dodge all the attacks even though he is the target of countless drones, but he is not hit by a single shot. Peter goes after a shield which he uses to protect himself from the gunfire while throwing a bomb to destroy the drones. His main goal is to capture Beck because he knows that only then will he be able to stop the attacks and prevent more people from being hurt. However, when he is found by Spider-Man, the villain orders Edith to attack him, and Peter has to fight him to get his glasses back, without being hit after destroying a percentage of the drones. He manages to interrupt the scenario created by the holograms, and Beck ends up being accidentally hit by one of their weapons. In his last moments, the man repents of all the evil he has caused, and returns the glasses to Peter. However, the scene is also just an illusion, because his true self would never give in so easily, since he's injured. But when Peter takes Edith back, Mysterio realizes he has no chance. After putting on the glasses, Peter sends all the drones back into space, and before he can be confronted, Beck perishes from a gunshot wound, and MJ runs through the streets looking for Spider-Man, and finding him. The girl hugs him, and Peter is relieved to know that all his colleagues are alive. Just then, MJ reveals that Happy has given her the necklace, and Peter is frustrated that he didn't get the chance to deliver it in person. Thrilled, the girl decides to kiss him, and reveals that she had her eye on Peter long before she suspected he might be Spider-Man. The next day, he and MJ start dating, and return hand in hand to the United States. When she meets her nephew again, Aunt May is extremely happy to hear that he is well and takes Peter back home. When he gets there, the boy discovers that Happy and his aunt are dating, and sets off across the city in his Spider-Man costume to find MJ. In the end, things turned out much better than he could have imagined before the trip. Mysterio revealed Spider-Man's real identity. After Quentin Beck, Mysterio frames Peter Parker, Spider-Man, for murder and reveals his real identity to the world. Parker, his girlfriend Michelle, MJ, his best friend Ned Leeds, and Aunt May are interrogated by the Department of Damage Control. Quentin is now seen as an interdimensional warrior who sacrificed himself to protect the planet and the world. Happy and May break up now, and J. Jonah Jameson leads the public trial against Spider-Man and builds a negative image of him. Peter explains to DODC that Nick Fury is his only witness, but he is told that Nick Fury has been off-planet for the whole year. However, lawyer Matt Murdock gets Parker's charges dropped, but the group suffers with unfavorable publicity, since Peter's house is always under media coverage. May and Peter move to Happy's apartment. The world is equally divided between fans and protesters of Spider-Man. Eugene tries to cash in on the mania by claiming to be Peter's best friend, and even publishes a full book about Peter. After Parker, MJ, and Ned's MIT applications are rejected on several attempts, and also the three were also turned down by all their backup schools, it's very clear that MJ and Ned were rejected due to their association with Peter. Parker goes to the New York Sanctum to ask Stephen Strange, a neurosurgeon who became a master of the mystic arts following a career-ending car accident, for help. Strange suggests a spell that would make people forget Parker is Spider-Man. Wong warns Strange that the spell is dangerous since it crosses the border between the known and the unknown reality, but Strange still insists, which made Wong exempt himself from them. Strange casts the spell, but the spell is corrupted when Parker repeatedly requests modifications to let his loved ones, MJ, Ned, and Aunt May, retain their memories. Strange contains the spell to stop it from causing chaos and makes Parker leave. Parker tries to convince an MIT administrator to reconsider MJ and Ned's applications, but he is suddenly attacked by Otto Octavius, a scientist from an alternate reality with 4 artificially intelligent mechanical tentacles fused to his body after an accident. Octavius rips Parker's nanotechnology from his iron spider suit, which bonds with his mechanical limbs and allows Parker to disable and control them. And then Parker saves the administrator. She sees the whole battle firsthand and realizes that Parker is a hero when he overcomes all odds to save her life against Otto. She leaves, promising to look into admissions for Peter and his friends. As Norman Osborn, a scientist and the CEO of Oscorp from an alternative reality, who tested an unstable strength enhancer on himself, he developed an insane split personality as a result and utilizes advanced Oscorp armor and equipment, arrives and attacks. Strange teleports Parker back to the Sanctum and locks Octavius in a cell alongside Kurt Connor's Lizard, an Oscorp scientist from The Amazing Spider-Man who transformed into a large reptilian monster while trying to regrow his missing arm. Strange reveals that before he was able to contain the corrupted spell, it summoned some people from other universes who know Spider-Man's identity. He orders Parker, MJ, and Ned to find and capture them. Strange then gives Peter a bracelet that generates a spell and transports the person whom it's aimed at straight to a cell in the Sanctum's basement. They are able to locate and retrieve Max Dillon, an electrical engineer from an alternative reality who gained electric powers after an accident involving genetically modified electric eels, and Flint Marko, a small-time robber from Spider-Man 3 who received sand abilities following an accident. Osborn regains control of himself from his split Green Goblin persona. He goes to FEAST, a building where May is a caregiver, before Parker retrieves him. While reminiscing their battles with Spider-Man, Osborn, Octavius, and Dillon realize that they were pulled from their universes just before their deaths. Strange prepares to reverse the contained spell and send the villains back to their respective universes, but Parker argues that they should first cure the villains' powers and insanity to avoid their deaths upon their return. Strange refuses and starts to cast the spell. Parker steals it and, after a heated chase, he traps Strange in the mirror dimension. Then with May, he brings the villains to Happy Hogan's residence. Happy Hogan, the head of security for Stark Industries and former driver and bodyguard of Tony Stark, who looks after Parker's apartment. He cures Octavius, but Osborn's goblin persona dominates and convinces the uncured villains to betray Parker. Max Dillon, Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman, and Rhys Ifans' Lizard break free. The goblin then kills May with his glider. May, with her dying breath, tells Parker, "With great power comes great responsibility." Heartbroken, Parker finds refuge. His friends, MJ and Ned, accidentally activate a portal in their search for him, and instead summon two additional Spider-Men from different universes, Andrew Garfield's and Tobey Maguire's. The two Spider-Men find Parker, console him, and inspire him to continue his quest to redeem both the villains and himself. Together, all the Spider-Men team up and collaborate to create antidotes and devices to aid in curing the villains. They set up their showdown at the Statue of Liberty, which is currently under renovation. The team lures the villains there. Dillon, Sandman, and Lizard attack, but after a dramatic showdown, the Spider-Men successfully revert them to their normal forms, curing them and sending them back to their respective universes safely. Meanwhile, the Goblin, blinded by rage, attacks Parker once more. This showdown reaches its dramatic conclusion when Parker prepares to destroy him, but Maguire's Spider-Man intervenes, choosing mercy instead of revenge. This moment resonates profoundly, reflecting the moral core of their character. In the end, Strange realizes the only way to repair the multiversal chaos is for everyone to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, even MJ and Ned. Parker reluctantly agrees. MJ and Peter share a kiss, and the magic spell is cast. All traces of his superhero identity fade away, but his kindness, his moral compass, and his ability to make difficult choices remain. Peter finds a new, solitary path forward, honoring the lessons he learned from his friends, his sacrifices, and his struggles, proving, once and for all, that with great power comes great responsibility. Later on, Peter goes to a restaurant where Ned and MJ are, but they don't know him anymore. They discuss of their approval into the MIT. Peter, seeing them happy, decided not to intervene in their lives, so he lives without them knowing that he's Spider-Man. And that's the end of Spider-Man: No Way Home. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more